What is going on? Brandon here. We have a shocking headline here. Share of Americans living paycheck to paycheck rises to 63%. And this is only from a week ago, but I swear I've seen this article before. Maybe it's repurposed or something, but I got this in one of Robert Kiyosaki's emails, actually. And, they're talking about how to get your finances back on track from CNBC or whatever. But, you don't want to listen to that garbage. We got the little guy here. He's ready to go. And we're talking about what to do. What to do, not from my words, but from other advisors. And like we always say here, this is not financial advice, this is freedom advice. How to get your life back on track. I truly believe that he's ready to go. He's ready to get his life back on track and get independent, get resilient, and start looking at what we're actually doing and creating primary wealth, not tertiary wealth. Primary wealth is the real source, is the actual thing, and it's what we want to actually do, so that way we are putting ourselves in the driver's seat and becoming independent, resilient, right? So this is obviously six and a half people out of 10 that you see are living paycheck to paycheck and rising. Savings are going down, credit card usage is going up. That is really a crazy statistic, and that's only going to get worse because as so many people have predicted, 2023 is going to be even worse, and beyond really this decade is going to be very inflationary. So owning hard assets, right? And that's what Swan is my favorite Bitcoin only broker and company to get education from and to buy Bitcoin from. And I don't make any money from talking about them, but I love the company. I love the people there that work there. They're Bitcoin only, focused on non-state, incorruptible, uncensorable money. Anyone who is that's their mission, I am aligned with you. I know I have a friend really for life because we have the same mission. It's equality and freedom and justice for everybody, no matter what. That's the beauty of this. So how to survive an economic downturn. This is a phenomenal article about how to survive a downturn. We got another little one here. They are helping me become independent, resilient, and this is who I do it for. This is why I do this, and hopefully, if I can help one person change what they're doing, and we can all start doing this, because I've had many people in my past, the last 12 years, really helping me to get on a better track and to become independent, resilient. So now it's time to give back. And that's why for a number of years now I've been doing Facebook Lives and doing all kinds of social media to talk about primary wealth and becoming independent, becoming resilient, and being your own bearer of your assets and having that accountability and responsibility. So again, this article is awesome. Sam Callahan, I believe, is the one who writes these articles for Swan and signed up for this newsletter. And this is just their one anyone can get. They have a Swan Private as well, where you can become a private member and you get more information there as well and more reports from them. But again, this is what's going to happen here. So kind of highlighting this and just the financial repression model we've been talking about for a while now, with the IMF saying that 10 years ago in their letter, in their report, and then Ben Bernanke 20 years ago in '02 saying that as well. Deflation, why it can't happen here. So they are going to inflate their way out of this. It's the easiest way to do it for governments. And so here we are. Due to extreme levels of debt and seemingly no way out, governments are getting desperate. Historically, this means governments will come after their citizens' assets in a variety of ways. Devaluing the currency via high inflation. So fractional reserve banking, printing currency, lowering interest rates, forcing bond yields below, and I think this should say inflation rates. So forcing bond yields below inflation rates, so getting negative real returns for bondholders, so bondholders getting crushed, people saving in dollars getting crushed. Raising taxes, and this is why 63% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, because that's about the same number, if I'm not mistaken, that really just hold in dollars and they don't own assets. So that's why it's so important to get real assets, get bare assets. And then raising taxes. So we talk about inflation being the indirect tax, they steal from you, theft, and then raising taxes, actually saying, hey, we're going to raise your taxes, and then asset seizure. In 1933, they took people's gold. Are they going to take people's guns? Are they going to take people's property? Are they going to increase property taxes and try to squeeze you out of it? You'll own nothing and be happy. These are things we have to be prepared for, and it alters how you move and what you do. This is why I've questioned real estate now for the last year or two. Seeing the macro outlook, seeing what the global entities want to do, what governments want to do, and what they're telling us they want to do, it's being very cognizant of this. So here we are. Make no mistake about it. We're entering a period of financial repression. The last time the world was in a similar pattern of inflation, stagnated growth, and international conflict was the 1940s. Lynn Alden has been saying for a while now, she thinks this is going to be a period like the 40s. Whenever a sovereign government, this is from Lynn, whenever a sovereign government becomes highly indebted in its own currency, financial repression follows. This means that interest rates on the debt are held below the inflation rate for a long period of time, and institutions are mandated to own the debt. So pensions, endowments, they're going to be shoved in a 401k, stuff like that, all the ETFs, they're just going to be shoved in there. And in times of volatility, the impact of our financial decisions is magnified, like I was saying a few minutes ago. So how do we protect ourselves? Here are the top ways to protect ourselves during economic crisis. Hard assets perform the best. During periods of financial repression, hard assets such as gold, real estate, and commodities have historically performed the best. Read that again. And however, each of these assets has a weakness, and he goes through the weaknesses. You can read this here and see the weaknesses of all these assets. So, things are able to be confiscated. You can't move real estate. They're liquid. Stocks are not a hard asset necessarily, right? You don't own an insurance company that you might have insurance with. All these have counterparty risk at the end of the day, except gold, gold and silver. But again, they tend to be highly centralized. If you keep them in a bank or something like that, then they can be hard to get, or you keep them in a vault. So what is the only thing? If only we had an asset that wasn't vulnerable to overreaching governments. Again, this is not financial advice, it's freedom advice. Enter Bitcoin, the most attractive asset for preserving wealth during periods of financial repression. Bitcoin is hard to confiscate, easy to transport, and has a fixed supply of 21 million. What happens when a fixed supply asset meets increased demand? Price has to go up. Not to mention, Bitcoin does not rely on trusting politicians. This is the most important thing. This is why I say price is the least interesting thing. If you just denominate your life in Bitcoin, number one, you can now see through everything. You can see the veil, the cloak of indecency. You see through the lies of everything when you actually price everything in Bitcoin, a true finite money. Now you have a controlled experiment. So you price your life in that, and it becomes very obvious as to what's going on. But this is the other part. Bitcoin does not rely on trusting politicians, banks, or other counterparties. That's the most important thing. After the 2020 election, it became very important, or very, very obvious to me that we had to get out of the system. We have to remove ourselves from that system. So become anti-fragile and reduce expenses and eliminate bad debt. Get out of that. Create your story. It's such a great article. So you can see all this here. You can stop it and pause it and read this whole article. It's an amazing article. And be ready for what's coming, and be ready to scoop up assets at a good price, but be in control of what you have. Be outside the system. Become your own central bank. Be anti-fragile. Be anti-fragile. We're questioning everything here. We're becoming independent, resilient, so that way we can provide a better life for everyone else. If only 1, 5, 10%, somewhere in there, do this truly 3 to 5%, 8%, we can make massive change in this world, and the iceberg flips like this. And all of a sudden we have a freedom and liberty-based country because we are the small, intransigent, irate minority that is making the change, just like the American Revolution. This will happen all over the world. Let's be a part of the change. So I appreciate your time, your energy. You spending it here is the most important asset we have, the only finite asset we have besides Bitcoin. Bitcoin is time, and time is Bitcoin, the only fair trade there is. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Please share it if you like what we're doing here. And let us know what you'd like to see more in the comments. What would you like to see? What would you not like to see more of? If you dislike, please let us know as well. And please share it with people that might like it, might not like it. We can battle it out in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.